there. That is what you hear all the time. I ain't changed. I'm real. I keep it real, right? Even politically, I've stayed my ground.
Yes.
That shit is whack. You ain't changed your mind in 25, 30 years. I'm supposed to respect that you haven't changed on anything. So that means the 20-year-old person thinks the same as the 50-year-old person? Oh, that's terrifying.
Love and marriage, love and marriage. You're a dickhead.
Carriage.
Too late.
Better late than never.
Okay.
You're so dickhead. I loved it. You're a dickhead.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
now
to
it's stuck in my head too. It's bad karma. Oh, I did it again. You gotta be used to. I have no clues. There's gotta be a clue. And
I put my hand off screen and tell you. Here I go. Look, they can't see it. But
it's gotta be fascinating because it's almost like I'm doing it intentionally, which I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's almost like 100 for 100.
yeah, you're good at interrupting closers and openers. Well, maybe you're just good at interrupting.
I'm not gonna make my joke.
What? What joke?
It's not a good one.
Okay, you know ahead of time. That's good to know ahead of time.
It's not gonna hit. I'm gonna have to explain it, and then it's not that it's not good. It's just I have to explain it.
I see.
Not the right audience.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Codependent Podcast. Today's topic is marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Give it up.
Say that. Yeah.
Too late again.
Darn. Better late than never. Not in this case.
Man, we've been doing a lot of topics, honestly, that make me feel a little unworthy or a little sat back or a little uneducated. But now we're on one here.
Now we in your shit.
I've done marriage.
Yes, you
have.
have.
I can talk about marriage.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. We are on year number 17, coming up, no, 18. Coming up on 19 in April. Yeah. Boy, oh, that's insane, man. That's nuts.
That's insane.
That's dumb.
It's really crazy insane.
God. How old are we? Oh, no.
Not old enough.
I know. So yeah, we did an audio episode on this a couple years ago, and we didn't re-listen to it. So apologies ahead of time for the 4 people who did. You're gonna hear a little repeat content, perhaps.
Maybe not. I don't even know what we talked about back then.
Yeah,
I'm gonna listen to it after this, or sometime this weekend. Not right after this.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we've been married for a while, and we're going to talk about marriage, and that's the episode. But we're going to start the episode off with our favorite game called Cringe the Counselor.
See, I did good. Yeah, I hate those things, but yay! Look, I participated.
Oh God. Okay.
I should have brought chapstick. Damn.
I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. See? I look out. Alright. So, in this game, we propose certain statements and phrases.
I think you look out. I'm slow, but Mary Jane. I do think you look out a lot. But in this game...
Now that one you can't say, oh, I didn't have a cue, oh, I didn't. I had literally already started the sentence.
I told you why.
Why?
Mary Jane.
Ah, Mary Jane, yes. Hello, Mary.
I be a little slow.
Okay. You want a tape delay?
Asshole.
Okay, so
Asshole.
I'm gonna ask you the first question in 3, 2,
What an asshole.
1. See, that's what I get for being a smart ass.
Hey, God smack.
I lost my spot. Okay. Cringe the counselor, question number 1 or statement number 1. Life will be better once I get married. On a
8.
scale of 1 to 10, that cringes the counselor at a boop, 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 boop. 8. Okay. Number 2, life will be better once I'm divorced.
6.
Wait.
I'm gonna tell you later now.
I know. We're gonna talk later. Until then, I'll just sit over here a bit offended.
Great answer. Good answer.
Number 3, my marriage is broken because I'm not happy.
7.
Okay. These are some of the higher numbers we've gotten.
Don't go by that. Don't go.
Okay. Number 4, we should make sure our marriage works no matter what.
5.
Okay. Number 5, the person I marry has to add to my life.
2.
Ooh. Okay. Not that cringy. We're gonna hit these again later. Talk about them. I didn't dig my nose there. I was touching my nose right. Number 6.
You already had some episodes. I know I do when I'm arranging it and stuff, so they're gonna think what they think.
Okay.
Definitely got them in there.
Number 6, my relationship would improve if my partner would just change a couple things.
5.
Okay, so let's. Well, thank you for joining us for Cringe the Council, ladies and gentlemen. That game is over. All right, let's go. I'm going to hit a couple just for the sake of hitting them that I found interesting. You have no choice in the ones that I ask you about. I'm the host of this motherfucker.
Well,
You're the talent. That makes me the host.
I'm God.
Oh. Dead. Okay.
Oh my God. I guess we did lose it up. Ooh, you can't edit that one out.
Oh,
boy.
I panicked.
Your girl is crazy.
Okay. Yeah, she is. Okay. Well, Lord, I'd like to ask you about number.
I did like that a little bit. Ooh.
I gotta ask. I'm not. Oh, don't let it go to your head, Satan. That's how he fell out of
about some
heaven.
new pillow talk. I think I'm gonna be addressed as Lord. Oh, stop. Okay.
Now, I have never heard of that role play.
I haven't either.
You be God. Who am I in that, by the way? If you're God, who am I in that role play?
That's a great question. Judas?
Wow. So God's fucking Judas.
Oh shit.
Now
I was thinking the other way because he's getting stabbed in his back. So that's euphemism.
I'm not gonna make the joke going the other way. That sounds nuts. I already felt a bit blasphemous for what we've done so far.
Hey.
So let's and so you said the number 2
Okay.
for the person I marry has to add to my life. Can you speak a little bit more about what that means, my dear? Why was that not bothersome? Meaning that was a quite logical, understandable statement to you.
So, similar to previous episodes, I definitely have my biases. So that
Sure.
could play a part. I think that's a huge part because that's a statement I would say. And so for me, it doesn't cringe me because what you're stating is a desire and a boundary and a standard. Why is that a problem?
Love it.
I don't have an issue with
I
that.
like that one.
You're saying
Yeah.
that when you and if you get married, you want
Yeah.
that person to add to your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a person should, if they're going to marry, you add to your life.
Okay. Yeah. There's so
So I put 2 because I really want to say almost 0, but
it's still a little bit.
because I don't know tone yet. So it's like,
There's
how
no
are you
tone.
saying that,
No
right?
tone, no
Because
tone.
it's like, I'm just saying hypothetically,
Yeah,
right? Like,
okay,
I don't want to
okay,
go with
okay.
a 0. Because if someone's coming in more demanding, like, if you're going to marry me, you're going to add to my life, I'm going to have an issue with that. I'm not going to lie. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if you're just saying, like, this is my desire and hope.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. And that's the thing about these questions is tone
Oh,
is
it
not
changes
quite
so
a
much.
part of it. Because I kind of want to, and you addressed it. So you hit it kind of from all sides. All right. Let's
Hey.
do. That's what she said. I'm gonna do one more from our little game. Let's go to the one that you hit for my marriage, and I think you gave this one a 5. My relationship would improve if my partner would just change a couple things. And I went relationship there.
Yeah,
It doesn't
I
have to be marriage
actually
specific.
gave it a 5, and I actually think that's a perfect number for me because it's middle ground, meaning your relationship could improve if your partner changed a couple things. True.
Yeah.
Relationship could improve if you changed a couple things. Also true.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not a huge cringe. It makes me cringe because your focus is on the other person who you can't control or
Yeah,
change
yeah.
versus yourself that you can.
Yeah.
So there's some cringe. There's a medium amount because, again, your focus is completely on the other person.
Yeah.
But there's some truth to what you're saying. It's just not the whole truth.
I like this from our game then, that basically you're hearing it and you're adopting this game very well. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
But I like it because I'm just giving you a sentence, right? And it's neutral for me because I'm pulling it out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're hearing it, you're able to kind of apply some of the tones and context and situations where it might be applied. Like when somebody's saying this type of thing, careful about the why, the intentions, the underlying emotion and stuff like
It's
that.
probably why I'm obnoxious to people in regular conversation because that's my job technically, right? Meaning to understand that this can be applied to in so many different contexts and in so many ways. So don't rush to a judgment, but like let's wait and see what did they mean by that, right? Because you could mean 5 different things with one sentence, and before I rush to an emotional response or even overly make a judgment or a thought, I kind of want to see, well, what did you mean by that, right?
Yeah.
But because of that, I become very irritating to regular folks because they think what they said meant one thing.
And you're looking at it.
And I'm looking at it in 5 to 10
possible
different ways,
machinations.
including why I don't test well. Because a question can be interpreted in different ways depending on where you put intonations or, you know what I mean, like where you emphasize it. Sometimes it's not that serious, but my brain is looking for 15 different possibilities.
Agree. I'm with you on that. Okay. Well, this should be fun. We are going to get into our next little bit here. And it's a piece we like to call Updating Files, ladies and gentlemen. We are updating files. And this is us thinking about shit we used to think about, thinking about it today and seeing, do we think about it different? And I hope that was clear as mud, as the white folks say.
Do they?
That's the only people I've heard use the phrase.
I didn't even ever heard that phrase.
Clear as mud?
Yeah.
It's it's just a sarcasm of ambiguity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understood the double Just never heard that one.
No.
I love little sayings like that.
Yeah, me too. The whites are great for those kind of things.
The whites.
So we're gonna be updating some files.
It sounded like the end of your song.
Yeah, I liked it. It was like a little
That's
crescendo.
a little beat. You need to do a little mix on that. Somebody need to produce that.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, top of the charts.
Oh.
So I'm going to
Oh.
start off because I've had time to prepare. Because I am the host. And as the talent, we like to keep you like Jay-Z going off the top of the dome.
No pen.
No pen. She's stupid. Okay. So I'm gonna say the one I want to go to first is about marriage. If I have an objection, or what's another word for it? Because that sounds a little bit too...
Disagreement?
A disagreement, or I'm bothered about something.
Complaint.
A complaint, whatever.
Frustration?
You should oblige. You know what I mean? Like, as my wife, I'm bothered about this thing. Maybe it's... what could it be? Do I want to...
Leaving your shoes on in the house.
Wow.
Washing dishes. Leaving dishes in the sink.
What
Lowering the toilet.
What
when
you
pee.
wear.
What you wear. Calling me when you've been out late.
Or being out late.
Being out late. Going out with your friends.
Yeah, so I guess I guess some of the ones for me personally that I used to object to might be like I can't even remember, honestly. Maybe like how you spend your time and energy.
Communicating my problems to you.
Yeah. And I'm like,
what I'm getting upset about.
Yes, what's bothering you? Don't let that bother you. It bothers me when you complain about me, so you should stop. It bothers me if you
overexert with friends or family that end up bothering me and complain to you about it.
And so I'm telling you, don't go talk to them and don't go do this because it's going to end up like this for you. So basically, I'm projecting out my fears and my worries and my whatever onto what might happen or what is happening. And because I'm having a certain emotional response, a certain rejection to the moment, I'm now telling you, change it or you don't love me type thing. That's what I was on, because basically I didn't understand the individual nature of marriage. I took it as just a whole one thing. And the one thing, I guess, was my thing.
Well, you are a man. Couldn't be my thing. That would be vagina monologues.
I feel like I live in your vagina monologue.
Hey, I hope you do.
What's one of the things from marriage that
I think that's a good one.
What's a
But
file
say
you would
anyone?
update? For you personally, yeah.
I feel like that's a good one for me too, but I'm not going to use it because you said it. A marriage file that I would update. This sounds a little weird, but your marriage is your most important relationship.
Wow. So you want to keep going?
I think it goes into what you were saying. And it's not to say that it isn't an important relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when we look at romantic relationships, it becomes the relationship, right? So then everything else is subject under to marriage and kids, which creates a half a person. Like you said, that's not an individual, right? What do you want? What do you need? what do they need too, but do you put yourself into that equation, right? And so I think sometimes when it's overly focused on marriage, kids, all of that, you forget who you are and what you want, what you need.
Are you saying that's the most important relationship? Like, or
To me, it's not one.
I got you.
And I think that's the problem. If I put all my eggs into you,
I got you.
That's already imbalanced.
I got
so
you.
I can't even explore what other relationships are important, right? Or develop what other relationships are important, which, yes, myself is a huge factor in that. But also kids and also friends and also family and also all of that, so that there's a balance. Because I don't think it should be all on any one person. That's too much for any of them. Like, even if I only was on my mom, only on my dad, only on my brother, only on you, only on the kids, that's too much for any one person.
Right.
I look at it as a sort of a diversifying interest.
Yeah, because I guess, especially for us, maybe it's not age dependent. We got married young, so it was especially easy for us, maybe, or not. Fuck what I'm saying. But I could see that ease of over investment into the single person because of the value that the intimate relationship can give you, right? Which could separate from a friend or a family. It goes a bit deeper in ways, exposure, proximity, and time, and so I can see how you could put a lot of eggs in that basket. I also think it's
for women, maybe not men, but at least for women, is what we're taught to do.
Be homemakers.
Yeah,
be nurturers, mothers,
wives. Like, as early as I can remember, most of my lessons were around being a wife.
Right. Prepping.
Like, that comes with kids, but it's mostly being a wife, like preparation for that.
Yeah.
So there's already an idea that you got to do all this adjusting and changing and shifting and becoming and doing to be a wife.
Yeah.
So there's no identity of who you are. You're a wife. That's your future. And that comes with kids and whatever that means and responsibilities of a wife. But that's like the identity. So therefore, who are you outside of that role?
Which makes it easy to understand how the woman in today's society who chooses no husband or no kids can end up dealing with that psyche trick where it's like identity conflicts.
Oh, big time.
Right?
Where do you even fit in?
Yeah.
A married woman doesn't want to hang out with single women. Doesn't want a single woman around her husband. Married men aren't going to be allowed to hang around a single woman.
Yeah.
So you can only really hang around single people if you're a single woman. Same for married women a little bit, which automatically is going to reduce your circle because you may or may not get along with the single or married women you know. Then add in if a woman is trying to get married, which is something that me and you have seen a lot in our relationship, that when people are ready to settle down, they reach out to us. So that also will eliminate certain things for single women. And then even in that, you're not going to always want to hang around single men because they're only going to be looking for sex. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that men have a similar, on their side, kind of struggle.
Yep.
So it makes it very challenging if marriage is the only focus. And I think a lot of times in society, romance is, and then therefore because of marriage, right? Because no one, like you hear people say it all the time, I'm dating to get married. Why?
Yeah.
Because somehow in society we think that's the pinnacle. We think that's the achievement. A part of the American dream, you want marriage, kids, and a house, and a job. So you don't really hear until more modern times other options of the American dream. There wasn't even another option.
Yeah.
It's like the picket fence, 2 kids, husband, car. That's your American dream.
Yeah. Yep.
The other problem with that is, so say you're married and that's what you've been taught is the prominent relationship, marriage. Okay, cool. Now I have a problem in my marriage. Who am I talking to?
Because of the overinvestment into it?
Because I've overly invested in one dynamic when I have a need for these other dynamics. I haven't invested in them. So I might not have those resources.
Yeah.
I see that a lot in relationships. Also, if something's going wrong, who's going to tell me? Who am I talking to about it? Who's going to check me? I think that concerns me because of abusive relationships. I see that a lot.
Okay.
Where they're isolated. That's one of the tactics of the abusive person. I don't even know if it's always intentional, consciously or subconsciously, but you start to isolate that person.
Yeah.
You also start to isolate their resources. So for me, if you're invested heavily in your marriage and now the marriage is falling apart, you don't have your own money, you don't have your own resource, like how can you even cope?
Yeah.
Or escape? Not to say that that's always your goal, but if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna update one more file here. It's my job to make you happy.
Oh Lord.
Happy.
Well, now you know why them other ones cringed me out on them happy comments.
Yeah.
Because I definitely played in that.
And that goes to number one, where you from the game where you're like you gave an 8 on that for life will be better once I'm married, and this, I guess this ties in the sense of it's tying your mood to the person,
to an external source. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if you said I'm gonna be happy when I got a car, when I got a job. It's the same level of cringe for me, right? In the sense that like your whole external happiness source is one thing and one thing outside of yourself. That's a double whammy right there. Like you put all your joy into one option and you have no control over that option.
Wow. Right.
So you're not happy then.
Right.
And you're not gonna be happy because that's the only possibility for your happiness. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's gonna make me concerned as a therapist and as a person.
Yeah, as a friend, as a
loved one. Like that's not what I want for my people.
And I guess for me, it's not quite the same, but in a way it is, that I struggled mightily, and in a way I'm still learning how to exist in the midst of, but I struggled mightily in the past when you were upset. And of course my struggle would be commensurate with the level of upset I felt you were, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can add a multiplier if I'm the reason for the upset.
Absolutely. If you the cause, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So it's been some of my best personal work as far as meditation, grounding myself, metacognition, and seeing what are you feeling, understanding why I'm saying what I'm saying or doing what I'm doing, and just overall observing myself is when you're upset. It's the best time for me to do that work because I have a glaring source that's emotional for me that I'm connected to. That's our codependence, aka codependent podcast. Disgusting. But anyway, yeah,
as the kids would say.
Yeah. For a long time and even still, that's what I mean. Before it was my job to make sure you're happy. Now it's my job to maintain my presence even though you're not. That it's like a separate work I'm doing. I understand now. I have some influence over your mood, and I'll always try to, if I can, I'll do my best to do the things that bring your mood up. But even in my best efforts, you could be upset with me. Even if I do everything I'm supposed to do, you could be upset with me because somebody else did something. Mm-hmm. Or I could give my full fucking effort, and this is where I see a lot of my niggas struggle. When they give their full effort and are met with a disappointing or a response, it ends up getting personalized. That's what I used to do. I used to take the disappointment I felt at your response and snowball that bitch right back at you and call you ungrateful or why can't you just blah, blah, blah. It's not that I don't feel those things anymore. I just understand, like I was saying before, the individual nature of a marriage where I have to respect where you are right now and your feelings and your mood. Of course, I want to help. But then again, I have to also learn to let go of the tether and the addictive behavior that is trying to manipulate your mood. Yeah.
Even though this is a different episode, kinda, have you updated the file on happiness? Is there an update on that file for you? And I guess it's cheating to give my answer first, but the reason I ask is because with you saying you no longer are like sort of wrapped up in me being happy, which is a relief for me because my goal in life has never been to be happy. So that's a part of one of my frustrations in dealing with others is because I think that they want me to be happy all the time. That's not my goal, and that's not even realistic.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. That's an interesting little twist to this tale. Because I was obsessed before with making sure you were happy, which inadvertently put a pressure on you to display or feel a certain mood in order to be acceptable to me. Because of my aversion or my triggers or my disability to deal with our paired and shared emotion creates a little bit of a hindrance, a retreat in you, a little facade, a little hide, a little inauthenticity.
Just my preference to be alone, because most people are going to want you to be around them, but they're going to also want you to be around them if you're happy,
yes.
right? So
yes.
People always want us around, but they also want us to always joke and happy. That's not me all the time.
Yeah, I'll speak on that. I'll say I have not necessarily updated happy. In ways I do think about it different, but I guess I'm glad that I've learned to let you be upset without me having to be upset, because it gives you space to be, which is good because I've been suffering from a different aspect of that. I've been feeling bad from our codependent state, that she's upset but I'm okay.
Yeah.
I've been feeling guilty for establishing my seat of peace and calm and groundedness in the midst of your emotional turmoil when that happens, right? Yeah. I've been feeling guilty that I'm not being as attached or drawn in, but then something in my head tells me like she doesn't want you to be. You know what I mean? She definitely wants you to see her, respect where she's at, be gentle and kind, of course.
Check in even, but
yeah, maybe a check in, and maybe when emoting, respect it in the face some, like don't be on your phone and this and that. But I don't have to be in the throes of whatever you're in with you, which was a involuntary process for me before. I would just be in the throes.
Yeah.
But so much so that I couldn't admit that to myself. So what it did was it made me have to dictate your mood, because I was only trying to avoid the feeling, sensation, and discomfort. Not sit in the discomfort of your bad mood before. No, because I didn't even understand I was being affected that way. That's my biggest file update of the century in our marriage, is being super honest about how even the smallest observations I have around your mood and your feelings or whatever, it affects me. It absolutely does. On the positive, on the negative, I'm feeling that wind, that weather.
I think that's a great point for another marriage file to update, which is sort of I definitely miss. So wrong expectations is a general.
Ooh, that's
an
update.
General update.
That's an
but
update.
Specifically expecting you or wanting you to feel what I feel, right?
Yeah.
Meaning.
Okay.
About what I'm going through.
Okay.
About societal, political issues, about how to attack and approach things, expecting it to look the same, expecting you to have the same passion or fervor, or even to what you're saying. Like, even what you're saying, you didn't recognize how things I was saying impacted you.
Right.
And because of that, things I say impact you heavily.
Yeah.
Not only because of that, but like things I say, or not just things I say, but what I'm learning is that for men, if they care about the woman, what she says has a strong impact.
Yes.
So I used to want politics to have a strong impact, race to have a strong impact, gender to have a strong impact. And it's like, we ain't the same. Those things do have a strong impact on me. They may not have a strong impact on you. I have a strong impact on you. Do I need you to have a strong impact on every fucking thing? Or is that enough? And that's kind of what I mean by that updating that file. It's
that's
like,
interesting.
I wanted you to look like me. We don't got the same experiences.
Yeah.
We don't got the same gender, the same.
So there's disconnection when I don't grab onto your emotional hinge points, but there was something deeper underneath you saw where the nigga cares about me, my feelings, my being, my presence, my whatever. Maybe not all the things that I've learned and been through that I've gathered, but a deeper. That's fantastic.
And it's
we never even talk about this shit before.
That's an individualization. Because if I allow you to be an individual, you're not gonna like all the same things I like. Kids help with that, if I'm being honest, because Kennedy in particular, we don't have the same natural interests. So there will be things where she's pushing me or I'm pushing her. I love animals, but she's more into animals than I am.
Yeah.
I have always been, in my family's eyes, the animal person, right? But I'm also very much a people person. So, you know her, she cares more about animals almost than people. That rubs me like, damn, you can't care more about animals than people.
Yeah.
Why can't she? That's her experience.
Yeah.
That's her gifts. That's her talents. That's all of that. Yeah. The same way you'll see people like, oh, you got to care about animals. How dare you do that? You got to care about the environment. You got to care about the homeless. I can't care about everything to the same 100% passion level.
Yeah.
I just can't. Nor can you. So, of course, some things I'm extremely passionate about, you may not be.
That's a
some
good
things
update.
You're extremely passionate about, I might not. I used to literally put that on this person's a shitty person.
Yeah, that's the fundamental attribution.
Yeah, really, like, oh, this person, you don't care about this? What kind of person are you? Who are you? You're not caring enough to even, because if I'm being honest, I'm more even probably, or I was more judgmental in that sense from a social perspective. Like, not only do you not care, you don't care enough to move, to do things. You know what I'm saying? It's not just even like, oh, let's sit here and talk about social issues. You ain't helping the homeless people.
Yeah.
You ain't give to no cause.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, everyone has their own journey, their own experiences. So that was a huge part of me updating the file, because it's like, what do I really care about? I'm not saying I don't care about those things. Yeah. But do I need you to?
Yeah. I mean, it's nice when it happens.
It's great when it happens.
Yeah.
But that's also the thing that myself and many people in society don't like, right? If we're being honest, our differences is what makes us a great society. If I care about animals and you care about people, both are covered.
Yeah.
If we both care about people, animals ain't covered. The environment's not covered.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do one more, or maybe two more. Who gives a fuck? I'm going to do another one.
Update file?
Yeah.
You got another one?
I have another one. Being right.
Oh, my God. That's a good one.
And holding lines.
Oh, my God.
Being right and holding lines is necessary for consistency and for my brand.
Oh, can we put that in the black episode?
What's the black episode?
Fuck, the episode on blackness, because that is the black agenda right there. That is what you hear all the time. I ain't changed. I'm real. I keep it real, right? Even politically, I've stayed my ground. Yeah. That shit is whack. You ain't changed your mind in 25, 30 years. I'm supposed to respect that you haven't changed on anything. So that means the 20-year-old person thinks the same as the 50-year-old person? Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's insane that we tell ourselves that.
Yeah.
You kept it real. No, I'm the same as day one. Day one?
Yeah.
You're the same?
Right.
I'm running.
Right.
I'm running.
Yeah, you know, I agree, man. I agree, and it's a little sillier now that I look back, but I remember how important it was to me.
Yeah, we're laughing at it, but it's important to me too, though, because it looks like stability.
Yes.
It looks like consistency.
Yes, trustworthiness,
right?
Yes.
It looks like you know yourself.
Yes, grounded.
I
said the same thing last week. I said it this week. I said it 10 years ago.
I ain't changed. I say the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I ain't no jealous guy. You know, like,
this is who I am.
So I said stuff like that to you in a marriage early, probably trying to put my best foot forward to myself and to you. I'm not a jealous guy. Translate, I don't want to be and act from my jealousy.
Yeah, I
right?
don't want to act jealously.
I don't want to act from my jealousy, and I don't want the emotional feelings, the discomfort of the jealousy to sit on me and weigh me down and take away from my joy. Nobody wants that. But I would take it and these sentences that I say, either about myself or about us in our fights or discussions, I need to hold the line so that the next time this conflict comes up, there's a better chance that she does what I say and does what I want because I've been consistent. So it was always a measure of protection from a fear standpoint. I didn't understand that before. The need for consistency and holding to concepts, holding to opinions, holding to personality traits is a fear reaction to instability, like you said before. Nobody wants to be on a rocking boat, a rocking house, a shaking ground. Nobody wants that shit.
Yeah.
Right? So I was, and I wanted to make sure that if I said, no, it's not that I'm not affectionate. It's that you're too affectionate. It's that you want too much affection. It's not that I don't talk enough. It's you talk too much. And that's because if you look at how much women talk and you look at men don't talk, and then this is my opinion, and I'm standing on the fact that men and women talk different. So that means next time you're upset at my lack of engagement, I have remember what I've been saying? I have something to go on.
This reminds me of that freaking Steve Harvey episode that pissed me off. Remember the judge? When he was judging. I don't know what the fuck you call it, but he was judging.
Yeah.
And this fucking white dude was irritating the shit out of me because he's been with this woman for like 20 years.
Yeah.
They got 2 kids. They've gone through everything together. He ain't planning to leave. And he's talking about, I refuse to marry her. And I got these statistics. And I got this. And I got that. And he's like, well, why should I do it? Oh, Lord.
Steve broke it down.
Steve lit his ass up. First of all, you stupid as fuck, okay? Are you stupid? I agree with Steve, though, because Steve told him I'm kidding. But no, sir. If this chick is on fucking TV whining over your ass and you talking about you not about to marry her ass, oh my God, I'd have left his ass. I wouldn't have been on TV talking about marry me after 20 years you didn't marry me.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose her and you got her looking like this on TV?
Yeah. He's stuck.
On what?
I don't know.
That's my point. And that's why Steve said you're stupid.
And it's not that he has to get married. That's not what I'm saying.
It's not that you have to get married. But his reasonings, and most people, that's what it is. It goes back to what you were saying. I'm grounded in my rightness. So, yes, that's the issue with the consistency. I need to show consistency so that I can win this argument. And a lot of times, that's what I've talked to you. I talk to couples about this, too. I feel like men are trying to win the argument.
Absolutely.
And women are trying to connect.
I'm not going to give you guys that much credit.
I'm not going to, well, you can't give guys, but I'm just saying in general, when I talk to couples that are trying to work
You're
through problems,
a professional. Let me sit back.
I'm not going to say every person is mature enough to get to that point, right? But usually, even if a woman's doing dumb shit, it's because she's trying to connect to you, right? That's when people say men use love for sex, women use sex for love. We want love. We want connection. Men demonize that. They want to connect to you. Do they know how? No. So already she's trying to connect to you. That's why she's saying it. There's something that she's feeling like she's not getting from you. She's wanting this thing from you. Like you're saying he's feeling something else. You're telling me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to show you I'm right. I'm trying to show you why this makes sense. I'm trying to show you I'm right. I'm trying to show you like no. I'm trying to be like this is the stats. This is what other people say. This is what other people think. Don't nobody give a fuck about that. I'm telling you what I want to be happy with you.
Yeah.
And if you're saying you want this, you should care about that. Because if I'm not happy with you, why would I stay with you?
Yeah.
And that's why I said happiness can't always be your goal. Because if our relationship is tied to us being happy, then we are going to be constantly tied into doing what each other wants to do.
Yeah. You'll be a slave to that pleasure button.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So should you, in every whim, try to make that person happy? No. But with significant things, should you be considered, like I consider that a part of even friendship, right? If I care about you as a person, I'm going to consider you.
Yeah.
which therefore means not just take it in and think about it and throw it away, but like actually take that into consideration. This is something that means something to you.
Yep.
Can I help with that? Can I do something with that? Can I contribute to that in some way? Does that mean I gotta always? No. And that should be on me to consider.
The difficulty with reaching consideration, at least from my state before, was I had a bigger thing to worry about. And if I can rephrase that, I was too scared, right? Mm-hmm. So I was too scared to consider your emotions. Number one, they were overwhelming me, and I wasn't comfortable or experienced with what the fuck was going on inside me. So I'm trying to use logic and reason to get you to back off. And the second reason I wasn't able to, matter of fact, it's the same reason, really. Since I was occupied in my mind with my own trying to stay grounded and cool and keep everything okay and no stress and no fighting, then it's difficult for me to reach across that agenda to see your side. I'm glad that
you said that, because to me that goes back to the oneness, right? And that is kind of toxic, right? Because if we think about oneness, and if we think about compromise by definition means dissatisfaction. We don't recognize that that's what it means, but that's what it means, right? Yeah. So people love to talk about we are one. How we get one? How did we get to oneness?
Right. Who did it?
In order to get to oneness, two blended into one, which means we had to shed some things or let some things go or be disappointed in some things, right? So the individuation factor that you said is important, because if we see that we're two individuals, and we have to agree on things, not that we're always one, then that also shows us that sometimes it's going to be your way, sometimes it's my way. But when you talk about oneness and then leadership, it's going to normally be one person's way.
Okay, right.
And maybe one person's way most of the time, right? Okay, that's fine for that person, but why would the other person tap in? And that's why I said we got to sometimes look at that oneness idea. Yeah. Because even for women, we talk about any concept or conversation or piece in a couple's relationship, the husband's going to have a perspective, the woman's going to have a perspective. So now, if I'm telling you this is my point of view, you have to agree with that point of view. That means you're not satisfied.
Right.
But because I'm talking about oneness, I'm not recognizing you're not satisfied. We're good.
Yeah.
The unit's okay. Or this is right. Or we're on one accord. But what does that one accord mean?
That's one accord. That's your accord. To me, oneness is like you said, combination.
Combining it,
One, recognizing oneness. If it's comfortable, we're one. If that's comfortable for you to say and do and move like, that means we're me. And that's different than we're one. We're one means we, like you said, shedding, combining, and I'm not saying, because we are codependent at this point. It just is what it is. But we work on it and we realize that yes, we're individuals, but the emotional pull is so strong that it's easy to forget that we are separate. I'm glad that
you said we work on it, because codependence is a part of relationships.
Yeah.
Your children are dependent on you, and you're dependent on them. If your child died, are you going to just be like, cool, I would love to see the person do that? Not really.
Why did I laugh?
Because honestly, that's insane to us, which lets you know you're dependent on that person for something. We've demonized the concept of codependence.
Of any dependency, actually.
Any kind of dependency on any kind of need, like neediness. I need you. You need me. I need my kids. They need things from me. That's not a derogatory thing about them. That's a state of reality and a state of life, right?
It's logistical in a family unit to help with chores.
It's logistical in life.
To help pick this up. Hey, can you grab this? Can you grab that? You know?
I needed the doctor to deliver my child.
Yeah.
Am I a needy person because I couldn't deliver my child by myself? I need somebody to bring the damn food to the grocery store for me to get it. I don't even know where that shit's coming from. I'm needy because I need that. Everyone has needs, but we've demonized that terminology.
Yeah.
And I see it in couples, and the reason I say women is because men get the bad rep a lot, right? So it's like, oh, the man's in charge, so we're doing it all his way.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard a lot of shit with the woman is the one, not necessarily recognizing it, but driving the force of like, this is my way. I want you to do that shit.
Yeah.
On both sides of the equation, I want the person to step back, right? That's what you want. But that means that person wants something different, which means somebody has to compromise and somebody is losing. So that's what the problem with writing is. If you think you should always be right, that means that person is always losing, always wrong. Why would they tie into
unless
that?
they agree with you? Then they're good.
But no one's always going to agree with you.
Right.
So therefore, why would they stay in a relationship? They're always losing and they're always demonized.
Yeah.
Who wants to be in that type of a relationship, right? I'm always the bad guy. I'm always wrong. I'm always at fault. It never can be my way. It never can be like me deciding or me taking lead. Who wants that? And that's the issue with oneness, because people are like, oh, let's go into oneness. But we got to agree, like you said, there has to be some type of agreement. There has to be some type of buy-in. And this person is like, sex. I want sex. That person may not want sex. Oh, this is frustrating. I understand that completely. But when you don't want to have sex with them, how do you want them to act? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to say? They're supposed to be, no, I want it so you can give it to me. That sounds rapey. But when you want it, it's now. But when they want it, is it now? So that's kind of what I mean. Like, are you really doing oneness in the sense of even the sameness? Is what I'm expecting of you the same of what I'm expecting of me?
That's a good...
Or is it rightness?
That sex one is a great one you bring up. I'd like to get into that one a little bit more. I know for me personally, I already know that for the most part, you're down when I'm down for sex, right? But even still, though, even with that knowledge, if for whatever reason I'm ready, and even if we're just not able to because schedule, or you don't do something to let me know you're free and ready to, I can turn that into a straight personal attack against you, like, and it doesn't hang around long to the point where I'm bothered for days or I need to bring it up to you. It doesn't. But the disappointment that I feel, it's an emotional feeling of loss. I wanted this thing, and the person who I kind of need to engage to make this happen didn't do the thing, and now there's a feeling of disappointment. Now, depending on how ready you are, the feeling of disappointment can vary. And I know in myself, I felt that emotional thing of mad at you. Literally mad at you.
Oh, I get
because we didn't do it.
But see, I think so. Like, this is also an updated file.
Real.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because within the realm of marriage, I think the file that I think needed to be updated, and what I also see in other couples that needs to get updated, is that sex is important. People dismiss it like, oh, it's just sex, so it's not that big of a deal. I've seen so many couples dismiss it in the sense of deprioritize it, so it becomes the last thing on the agenda.
Okay.
I've also seen it deprioritized in ways that you're saying, like our libidos may not be the same, so it's like, oh, you want it too much,
right?
Because it's not the same as mine.
Yep.
But even to what you were saying, I think that it becomes like this isn't something that should matter, and we forget. So don't eat for 3 days. How will you feel? It's going to be more than frustrated. Same for sex, honestly. Not to say that it's 3 days, but whatever that amount is different for each person. The same way when you fast for 1 day is very different than when I fast for 1 day. I get a lot more grumpy when I'm fasting than you do. I also get a lot more grumpy when we're not having sex than you do.
Uh-huh.
So for me, it isn't just disappointed. There's a certain point that everyone can last in not sleeping and not eating and not whatever. So there's a point when I get actually frustrated. Like when people laugh and joke about sexual frustration, that's legit. There's times when I've realized just because we haven't had sex so many times, or like in a while for me, I'm irritated in sessions. And I can see it's almost like a lack of awareness, meaning sometimes I'm irritated and I don't know why.
That makes sense.
And I'm coming out of sessions and I'm like, why? Oh, I haven't hit my J yet. Because literally that energy's on you, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you haven't gotten off the energy. Well, there's been moments when I've had that and it's like, oh, I've hit the J, I've done this, I've done that. Oh, now we've had sex, I'm good again. It was sexual frustration on some level. You've been wanting that, not just connection, because people make it seem like it's just connection. Have you been horny? Like that's an actual physical discomfort. Men get blue balls. You don't think women experience a version of blue balls?
That's interesting, yeah. And I like that you brought up eating, because there's an energy.
Eating. It's like,
oh, she a nasty bitch. Yeah, no, but that's real, because and I'm still learning this, right? And I haven't done a bunch of studies. and shit like that. But sexual energy has a lane in and of itself, right? Like, as does, like you were mentioning, food, the need for rest, even the need for activity. Like if I've been sitting still too long, even, there's a need to get up and walk around to release energy. So sexual frustration is definitely built into the anatomy somehow and to the hormones.
If I can add to it, because I think that's a part of the updating file, connection is necessity, right? So sex is more important, but so is connection. That's something that's dismissed in society. You can see that in the pandemic. Oh, just stay in the house. That's not easy for everybody, and everybody has different degrees of connectivity that they need. Mm-hmm. And so when you go back into the psychological studies, that's why I said it's important, because we look at it just from a like, oh, you're horny and you're a creep. No, there's an actual need.
Yeah.
So I guess I want to be careful, because this isn't necessarily studied or researched or popular opinion. But from what I've seen in society, that also can lead into rape and into some of these other things.
Molestations.
A lot of that, right? Like
rapes.
I need connection, right? I need interaction, but I'm not socially adept at getting it, right? I don't know how to get my need met. I don't know how to get this connection. And psychology teaches us people need connection. It starts to break you down psychologically and emotionally and physically, which means now I'm not a well-adjusted person.
Not thinking clear.
I'm not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
And if I'm desperate, what do I think? What do people do? When I'm desperate for food, I steal it.
Yeah.
When I'm desperate for connection, I steal it.
Yeah. Take it by force sometimes.
It by force.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how our marriage episode ended up in rape territory, but
well, rapes happen in marriage. Believe it or not, I get that a lot. And that's kind of what I mean, because I need this and you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying?
Back to what we were saying before about being right, and my wife should if I want this.
My wife is supposed to give me
or
this.
My husband's
I guess.
supposed
to give me this. And honestly, I'm glad that you said that, because
or wife and husband.
Absolutely. Whatever it is, this person's supposed to give me this, and that is part of the challenge, because we know in society it's rape when a man does it. But I've heard a lot of men talk about being forced into sex.
I was just listening to Rory and Maul talk about how women don't respect men's physical boundaries, and how grabbing dicks in a club is way more accepted than slapping ass, right? And that's the realness. Now,
we talked about somebody, the baby, kicked somebody for grabbing his dick.
Kevin Gates.
Kevin Gates?
Yeah.
My nigga. That's a boundary. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If a man stuck his hand in my pants, I'm going to kick him in his face.
Yeah, I got you. I guess I'm just weird. I'll let you speak on it, just 2022.
I know, because of men and women.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm glad that you said that, because you want me to say it, and I will say it. Because I promise you, if a woman hit my child, my son, I'm going to feel a type of way.
Right.
You think you have a right because you're a woman to touch and do anything to a man. That's not appropriate.
Agree.
And myself and a lot of women I know, I will fight a kid, so I'll definitely fight anybody else. I'm not, like, are you kidding? So I will tell my son, don't, only because he has mothers and daughters and sisters. Yeah, I'll fight for you.
We call
Your
Aunt Frida.
Absolutely. We got a lot of women we can call that will fight for you, and you don't got to hit her.
Shout out Aunt Frida.
Some men don't got that. And that's why I do think there's a respect for boundaries. I'm an angry person, so I'm a big respecter of people's boundaries, because if you keep coming at me and don't respect my boundary, I'm liable to try to hit you, stab you, who knows?
Yeah.
Because that's my trauma response, right? But people don't know what you've been through. So people play games with that. Oh, you're not supposed to hit me because you're a man. Okay, play that game if you want. And then you knocked out. Now you appalled. It don't matter if you're appalled, you knocked out. You ain't have to never get there. And I think that is something that women don't respect. I've heard a lot of men talk to me in therapy about, because I've worked with perpetrators and victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, right? What happens when the man is telling you I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, right? I'm walking away. I can't deal with this no more. And you're pursuing, and you're pursuing, and you're pursuing. He just told you he overwhelmed. Now he hit you, he wrong. He's at his limit. Everyone has a limit.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We don't teach people to respect boundaries. We do teach people to set a limit. But the problem with setting my limit, I can't force you to respect that.
True.
Which is the reason we got self-defense. If you're threatening me, I can defend myself.
Right.
So we telling a man he can't defend himself because she's a woman. That ain't cool to me.
I agree.
The same way I'm not going to tell a woman not to defend herself.
I agree.
There's where mutual respect has to come into place, but not everybody's in a healed state. And unfortunately, the onus is a lot of times on the man, meaning if I lose my temper and hit a woman, I'm going to be arrested.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
That's real.
I've seen the woman hit the man. The man might have pushed her, may have done something. Whatever happens,
Jail.
now he's arrested.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real. It's real. I mean, and I guess as much as that sucks, so does the way women have suffered, because
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. Like, we could play the game, and
I'm not victimizing
and
anyone.
we're not picking out who's
I'm
wrong.
not justifying anything.
You are pointing out good
but it
points,
is about emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Because if we want society to get better, I cannot change you.
Right.
I have to focus on myself. I can't force you to do anything. So the man can't either. But that is where boundaries come in. Marriage, all of these things go together. Because if I can't, in a marriage, I get this all the time. If I can't get you to respect my boundary, then what? There's nothing I can do.
Right.
I only can stay or leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't force you to respect my boundaries. I can't force you to respect me. Can't force you to love me.
Can't force you
to
to
be
talk.
happy.
Can't force you to have sex. Can't force you to cuddle. Can't force you to do date nights. Can't force you to do shit, to be honest. So it's leave or stay.
It's leave or stay, and that's the frustration, because what you just said. So I'm horny, right? I want to have sex 7 days a week. You want to have sex 1 day a week. That's a compromise. We got to figure that shit out, right? 3.5.
Three and
right?
a possible.
So this is where we talk about marriage too, because people are oftentimes already in it. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Because if we've never had that conversation, 3.5 is a possible, right? Like I can work with 3.5.
Yeah.
From 1 to 7 on either side of that spectrum, 3 is possible. But what if I want it 7 days a week and you want it once every 3 months?
Woo! We got a situation.
How we compromising?
I
now?
think we need to go to Spencer's, to that little back section, and buy them things that the teenagers go look at, because they didn't know they're supposed to go in.
Now we getting into some more shit, because men masturbate, women are not as comfortable or familiar masturbating because of societal standards and pressures on women. That comes into sex. That comes into marriage. Women aren't oftentimes as comfortable with sex as men are comfortable with sex. Sometimes.
Okay.
So all of that comes in how we're going to communicate, how we're going to be on the same page when we've been taught different things.
Yeah.
When we've been trained differently. When we've been socialized differently. That's going to be a challenge. And specifically, most women I've talked to, it's more rare for women to be comfortable masturbating and using toys. And a lot of the women, I've encouraged women when they're having problems in sex and in their relationships to masturbate. They don't want to masturbate. They don't want to have, they want the connection. They want sex with a person. They don't even want to masturbate themselves.
Masturbate themselves. That is a very redundant and funny phrase.
Well, not necessarily, because you can masturbate in front of each other or together. So it's like
solo
you don't want
game. They don't want to do the solo game. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. On that note, I'm glad you actually got it back into some tension, because I kind of wanted to close this episode out with you giving some counselor, marital type. I guess I'll give my little piece too, but for
and I think this was very different than the last episode. I don't know, but I want to listen.
I would guess that it. I would guess that it was. Let's check it out.
None of this stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk. I don't remember talking about none of this shit either. I'm interested to see now. Watch when we listen to the same shit.
We'll be like, it's the same. No.
I don't see it though. I don't see it for this. For real. Yeah. But what would your advice be? I'd say to a. I'm gonna start you off with a single person wanting to. They're aiming for marriage, right? Of course, they can't know all the pitfalls and all the difficulties, and I'm sure that single person listening is absolutely fucking tired of married people telling them, "It's hard, man. Don't do it, man. Trust me, man." You know what I mean? So, what would your advice be? On a practical level, for somebody aiming towards marriage, and this is man or woman, almost like a little preparation, you know, like a little something succinct to kind of, you know what I mean? And then I'll speak on something after that, but go ahead.
I don't know if to succinct, but it goes back to that question number one that you said, that marriage is the goal. So I would like them to explore why. Why do you want to be married?
Okay.
Can you find happiness or peace or joy or contentment without it?
I'm a role play, for instance, because I know somebody might be feeling that, like, yeah, but so I'm gonna play that role. I have explored it. I'm 35. I've lived single. I want a family. You know, I'm not saying it's better or this or that. I've lived a single life. I enjoy myself, but now I'm ready to do a different phase. I want to see, you know, what family and marriage life is all about.
Nothing wrong with desires,
Right.
but expectations can be challenging, right?
You don't know what the fuck my expectations are, bitch.
I don't know them, so that's why I want you to explore them.
Look at you, didn't even flinch. You must be a professional or something.
I've gotten it. Maybe not bitch, but
Not like that.
people
Yeah,
get
yeah.
pissed.
Not
when
like
you challenge, I want this thing. This thing will make me happy. Now you're telling me,
maybe
will
not.
it?
And they're like, bitch.
Will it?
How dare
Are
you?
you sure you want it? But honestly, I've had that scenario in so many ways, and I actually have gotten peace from certain clients who've reached that place of like, they wanted this thing and they're like, maybe I don't need it, right? Because without giving specifics of people's situations,
You better not.
I've seen people who wanted to be married. You get married, the man cheats. You get married, the man abuses you.
Do a woman one.
You get married, the man dies. Same difference for men and women. The woman cheats. The woman dies. The woman, the same fucking shit, right? The person dies. This was your source of happiness. Now what? Same for kids. This kid is sick. This kid dies. This kid has whatever. So you put all your eggs in this basket that this thing is going to be your source of happiness. That's why it makes me cringe on the 8.
And we did talk
what
about
if
that. Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing
yeah.
is a source of pain?
Yeah.
A source of...
Majority.
And if we're being honest, that is what relationships are. Which is why that made me cringe on an 8. Not possible, are.
Pain.
Our kids stress us out.
Oh, I see.
Not even... Our kids are healthy, but my kids stress me out every single day. My kids are not appreciative. They're not always grateful. Now, they're, of course, amazing kids, and they're very appreciative and grateful also. But what I'm saying is there's going to be moments
Absolutely.
where we've caused each other pain. The person you love the most, people say, oh, no, I don't want to be hurt no more. What you going to do? Where you going? What you going to bury yourself?
Where you going?
Where you going?
Where you going?
In the mountains by yourself?
Yeah.
In a hill? Like, you got to carve out a freaking...
Yeah.
Fucking Lord of the Rings in the middle of the mountains
Yeah.
somewhere, and then maybe you can find that.
Yeah.
But if you interact with people,
Especially intimately.
I mean, it don't have to be intimate. Is traffic pleasurable for you?
Right.
Go to the grocery store. Everybody's pleasant there. It's going to be. So if, like you said, if that is going to be a pain, then intimately, especially, like you said, definitely, like you said. And we think the opposite. We think definitely shouldn't hurt me because you're my husband. Definitely shouldn't hurt me because you're my kids. Definitely not. You're my best friend. Oh, you never thought that's the person who will hurt you the most because they can. You don't let a stranger in.
Because of that access, yeah.
You're not even letting a stranger in. You're not telling a stranger your business. You're not opening up to these people. What does every rapper talk about? It was someone close to them that betrayed them because they had access to.
Yeah.
That's why individuation is the only key and the only time you're ever going to be at peace. If you keep everything locked up inside of you, for sure, ain't nobody knowing nothing. But that's not peaceful either because we need connection. And that's the dance, and that's the balance, and that's the struggle because we got to connect. Which means we have to compromise, which means we have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you want it to go somewhat healthily. My struggle is want. So even when you were saying some of those heavy cringes, is if I really want something, I put a lot of into that instead of just taking life as it is. Because I can't control.
And that's the work there that you were saying before. Putting the source of your happiness. And nobody's going to do this on purpose, right? So it's something that has to be analyzed in yourself. And that's why you say why. That's the question you asked earlier. You want to get married, but why, right? And so there's nothing wrong with even a strong desire for marriage. That's true. It is what it is. It's inside you. But looking at it and analyzing it before, during the relationships, after the relationships.
Because it's not going to go the way you want. So people tend to say, like you said, why is usually because they think that's gonna make them happy or more comfortable or more something in some way.
More something, because the person,
and it will more frustrated and more happy, more excited and more annoyed, all of those things, right?
Respect.
And so that's why I say the why, because I also can't guarantee that outcome. Right? So if my source of is in a guarantee I can't control, I have already guaranteed I won't be happy.
Boom. Well,
right?
Sometimes, right? Like if it goes
well. If you need this to happen. Because
yeah.
right now, what I mean is you're guaranteeing it not to happen. Because even if you guarantee it happen, when did it happen? One time.
I see what you're saying.
Like I needed to get married, so now you're married. But you don't need to be married anymore. You're already married. That happened one time.
Oh,
now you're married.
I see. Now you need a bunch more happinesses.
Now what? Because that ain't the thing. Now you got to find something else. Now, so that's the thing. If my source is in I need this thing, it don't even matter what it is. I've already created discontentment.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
As opposed to if I can take life as it comes.
Yeah.
Now that's, like you said, it's not always going to be easy because I'm going to want things. There's nothing no problem with wanting it. But then now I've connected it to a need. That's different. And that's not even true. Right? What do I actually need for survival is very different than what I want.
Yeah.
And if I go around telling myself I need it, that's I've lied to myself. So now I can't. I've told myself I can't be happy without this.
Right. And now you've made a trap.
You trapped yourself.
You've made a trap.
You haven't given yourself an opportunity to find, because that's why I said, what's the why? Oh, companionship. You can find companionship in friend. What's the why? Love. Okay, you can find that. Sex. I can find that. Everything you're saying you think you need in this thing, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
And what I would say then is just a little advice. I guess I'll.
Because that might not have been the practical advice.
No. That was for the people prospectively. No, that was for the people looking towards marriage. I'm about to speak to the people in it already. Yeah. I'm about to say, like, look, it's not going great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, something's happened where it's not going great, and I'm gonna piggyback off of a lot of what my beautiful muse has said, in the sense of it's also okay to be unhappy and married. Mm-hmm. It's an inevitability because you're going to be unhappy and happy single, and you're going to be happy and unhappy married. The thing that I would do is look into, when you're unhappy in the marriage, how much onus have you placed on your partner for the maintenance of the mood, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm upset, if I'm bothered, if I'm discontent, how much of that is because I personally am not living life how I want to, or because they are not living life how I want them to? Mm-hmm. And so that's the part that I would say analyze and be honest with. It's a theme that we repeat a lot in this show, is being honest with yourself. And there's no judgment for, number one, being in a rocky marriage. There's no judgment for you feeling unhappy or displeased. Or
being single either, right?
No judgment.
But I like what you said, because honestly, I would take the same things we said into both. Because even that, why do you think the partner is supposed to be your source of happiness? Why do you think you're supposed to be always happy in your marriage, right? Mm. Why do you need this within the marriage? Whatever that is. Can you find that without it? And I even challenge my clients to that, because you're like, if I can't find it without you, I can't find it with you.
Wow, I love that.
So if I can find it without you,
I love that.
I can find it with you.
I like that, man. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Travis and Sherry have absolutely murdered this marriage episode. And the reason we murdered it is because we got the best marriage on the planet.
Hey. My weird wink.
Our marriage sucks, actually.
Our sex sucks.
She's unstoppable. She's unflappable. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We catch you next week. We love you.
Love y'all.